All right. God, I know this is like embarrassing. I like have no idea how to live stream. It's like, Rebecca, learn to live stream. Everyone else can do it. Why is it so hard? I know this is like. Oh, then I should probably click out of that. Was that just an echo, or is it gonna like echo if I have my YouTube on?
Don't think so.
Sorry?
Pardon?
Oh, did you hear that echo, or should I like turn off?
No, I think it was just coming from my end. It might have been.
Okay.
I just muted. I think I had the watch page. I just muted that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So gosh, yeah. At this point, I don't think I can even see like my chat here, but.
Well, there's no chat yet, so.
Oh, there isn't. Oh, okay. You'll just let me know if people are.
Right.
Oh, there's no. Oh, here we go.
There's feedback now.
Oh, there isn't. Oh, okay. You'll just let me know if people are.
Right.
Oh, there's no. Oh, here we go.
There's feedback.
Oh, there isn't. Oh, okay. You'll just let me know if people are. How did I mute this? Oh, there's no. Oh, here we go. There's feedback. Oh, there isn't. Oh, okay. You'll just let me know if people are. Oh, there's no. Oh, here we go. There's feedback. Oh, there isn't. Oh, okay. You'll just let me know. Okay, wow, did that turn the echo off?
Oh.
Okay. So no one's here, but I don't know.
This is 5 people's watching, so.
Oh, okay. Yay!
Workers.
We're popular. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people from the UK live stream at this time, so I wanted to make it convenient for you, but I feel like we're kind of competing with a few other channels here.
Yeah, you'll never be able to go live, without any competition, really. So.
Well, it is what it is. So yeah. I guess now that a few people are here, why don't you just introduce yourself?
So, my name's Jamie. I used to have a channel called Vegan Realist until that was shut down by YouTube because of medical misinformation. And I'm using this channel that the name that I am in the stream. So, but I'm currently on a strike on that channel as well. So.
So you do have like strikes now on this one?
Yeah, I have one strike. I had a warning. This was like months ago, and now it's become a strike. So, yeah, like I'm just thinking about just not even really putting much stuff on YouTube anymore, and just kind of putting stuff on the alternative platforms, really.
Oh, like which platforms?
Like Odyssey, DLive, things like that.
Oh, okay.
They have less censorship on them.
Okay. I know. I've been kind of like annoyed with YouTube lately. Right? You can't say anything without just, getting in trouble these days.
Yeah. It is a double-edged sword, though, because, you can reach a lot more people, though. So it's, it sucks.
Okay.
But
I'm perpetually annoyed. So blah 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 blah. I know, because I kind of feel like YouTube sort of favors certain channels, but then they really kind of punish other channels in a way.
Yeah, they have this like double standard thing where, like, I mean, people say, oh, well, they just want to get rid of harmful content. So then why are they allowing like content to get big that is promoting like unhealthy eating and things like that, like these mukbang channels, and it's just not really promoting health exactly, is it?
Not exactly. I mean, you can't necessarily, I don't know, because it's like on one hand, you know, they deserve to do what they want as much as we do. But at the same time, it's sort of like, why are certain channels punished, but then others like highly promoted? You know, at the very least, I think some channels might at least have a few videos at least demonetized. But right, these people are, you know, making kind of like weird, unhealthy or whatever content, yet like they're making all this money off of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really seem fair, does it?
Mm-hmm. So I guess one question I have for you is like, I know maybe you talked a little bit more about veganism on your other channel, but is there a reason why you don't just stick to veganism? You just like to branch out more? Like,
Well, I mean, there are other issues that need to be addressed as well, and yeah, and yeah, I don't just like to stick to one topic. It's good to branch out to different topics.
I know, especially this past year and a half, it's almost too hard not to talk about things.
Oh yeah, so much has gone on.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you just kind of get bored just talking about veganism pretty much.
Well, it's not that. It's just there's other things to talk about that I think need to be talked about. I mean, I did actually set up the Vegan Release channel to just talk about that, really, mainly, but it kind of evolved away from that. Um, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like right, I'm in this weird place where some people really like my political content and then others don't. They're like, you're a vegan channel, only talk about veganism. And I've had, you know, I've lost subscribers, and then even people who were at least friendly and supportive of my channel are suddenly leaving all these like angry comments. I'm just like, okay, if you don't
Yeah, I
like
remember seeing one, and it was calling you a racist because you were supporting Trump. It's like,
oh my God, it's like, wow, just because I voted for the guy doesn't mean I like worship the ground.
well, yeah, like,
You know, it's, I feel like the second you have any sort of right leaning opinion, it's like, oh, you're a Trump supporter, you're a racist. And that's like just not true. I mean, there's plenty of other, I guess, Republican politicians out there that are great. You know, it's not just Trump.
well,
And
yeah. I
right,
mean,
like, I mean, I liked some of his policies, but yeah, his environmental policies were terrible. Right, and I feel like that's a little bit more common with people on the right. Like with environmental stuff, they're just terrible.
well, I mean, you've got obviously you've got like Extinction Rebellion, like on the far left.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you know, that they're sort of like really pushing their ideas, and then you've got the right that they're trying to say that it's all fake. So it's like, you know, it's kind of a yeah. There's like this sort of feud between them that it's like we need to try and find some common ground. I suppose, like, you know.
Well, I guess one thing where I think more people are realizing it now, but when it comes to recycling, apparently only a very small percentage of what you put in the recycle bin actually gets recycled.
Yeah, I've
I
heard
feel like
that.
that's becoming more
Yeah,
common knowledge now.
yeah, I've heard a lot of it gets recalled,
Hmm.
so it doesn't actually like because the countries that it goes to they don't want it, so it gets called back. So yeah,
Right? And a lot of our crap ends up getting sent out just like across the ocean. It doesn't even get like thrown out or recycled like locally where you are, apparently.
yeah, um, yeah. So like plastics and stuff still probably end up in the ocean. Um, yeah, it's there's so much waste that needs to be like kind of like cut down.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know what your thoughts are on like hemp as an alternative to some like um, things to to like the environment.
I mean, from what I know, hemp actually seems like a good idea because I think you don't need as much of it. It doesn't require as much water. And
Right.
then it's obviously a lot more sturdy than, like cotton or something.
Yeah, it gets really good yields as well. Like it,
Hmm.
yeah, like it can grow very fast. Um, but obviously certain areas it not so much. So more like in the tropical regions, I think where it would be better to be grown.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think it could be used to replace a lot of things, but obviously we don't want to have too much of it because then that can lead to sort of like issues with the ecosystem.
Hmm.
But
I know
I
it seems
think,
like no
yeah,
matter what we try, there's always going to be like a downside to it.
yeah, even the so-called clean fuels, like
Hmm.
there's downsides to that. Um, yeah, um,
Yeah, because what
but
is it like solar panels and then windmills? Like apparently they have to use like jet fuel or something to clean off a windmill. And then the
right.
solar panels, right? Like those can't be recycled, so it's not as like cracked up as it really is.
Yeah, it's not as clean as what it's made out to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, they're probably better like than sort of like fossil fuels. I mean, it's like even if somebody doesn't believe in like climate change or any of that, that I mean, there is we know that air quality has um, decreased
Oh, whew,
because of the
tell me about it.
smog and all that.
Oh,
So
right. Because yeah, where I moved to, it not only did the fire season start early, but it supposedly for the first time in maybe what, like 50 or 60 years, we've had, it was over 90 degrees for like many, many days. Literally the entire month of July was just like smoke, 95, 100 degrees. It was terrible here.
yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, there is like something to it. I think I mean, like obviously, putting out greenhouse gases, it's some of it's going to stay in the atmosphere, isn't it? So, um, but apparently, hemp actually can was actually better at capturing carbon than trees.
Oh,
So
really?
I've heard so, but don't quote me on that. But it's pretty good at offsetting a lot of the carbon.
Hmm.
but I think that it's not being used because, well, it actually used to be used until they started using cotton because they found it was more profitable. So I think there's a big profit motive as to why it's not being used. Well, not to such an extent.
Okay, because yeah, I mean, in many ways, this is why I'm like in full support of not only growing hemp, but then there's the topic of like actually like smoking weed. But as you probably know, nowadays they can actually just like extract the CBD, and it doesn't make you like high or anything. But
because CBD will not make you high. It's the THC.
Right, you can still use it.
Has like less than like 0.3% THC, so there's no way it can make you high.
Right, like hemp is like the male plant, and then it's like the female plant that gets you high or has like the CBD.
Yeah, it's a THC that makes you high.
Yeah, THC makes you high, but then the CBD stuff is the actual like medicinal property of it.
Yeah, and some say THC is medicinal as well, but the THC is psychoactive, so
whoops.
But like I think it's been demonized. It's been like, I think that because it's not, at least from what I understand, it's not as profitable as some of these other things like cotton, plastic, the other things. I mean, like it's so. I unfortunately I don't see it sort of changing anytime soon. I just think that the only time it will change is when it has to kind of. I mean, think about it. These like corporations or whatever that produce all these things, like they will continue to milk the profits for as long as possible until it becomes unsustainable. So at that point, they will have to change because, well, I mean, they obviously want to stay alive as well. So if we are destroying the planet, then they're not going to want to completely destroy it, right? Because they're living on it as well. So I guess they probably would change when it's necessary, basically. But it would have to get to that kind of point where it's almost disaster.
Yeah, it's sort of like on one hand, like there's all this like virtue signaling about, be sustainable, blah, 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 blah. But then at the end of the day, they're just gonna, keep producing these things to make a profit, and they're only gonna stop until it actually gets pretty terrible.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what's in my chat here. I feel like someone was yelling at me to read the chat. No, he's no. Okay, female plants. Main problem is you can't patent a plant. No patent rights means no monopoly. They like monopoly. Yep. And then someone's saying, I am very skeptical of CBD oil. A lot of the normies are showing it off, thinking it's some type of trendy medical miracle or some shit. Okay.
Who's saying that?
Oh, Golden Skull.
Oh yeah, that's my mate. That. Yeah.
Oh, we got some of your people here.
Yeah, that Tom Corner that was in previously, he was from my channel. So.
Okay.
Yeah, he probably saw because I put up an ad on my other channel that because I had to like post to the other channel because I'm on a strike on.
Oh,
Yeah, so yeah. I mean, so I've lost the channel and I'm on a strike. So I've told you, didn't I? So
yeah.
yeah,
YouTube hates us.
yeah, that was what in the original thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll probably just use that thumbnail. I think this will just, record and then replay it, I believe. Right, that way people can watch it later if they feel like it, if they're not here live. So the hard question wasn't answered. Okay, Jamie, are you baked? I don't know, just some trolls.
Oh yeah.
We're all baked, motherfucker. It's like, no, you're just calm. You're not.
Yeah, that's just how I am. Like, I've had like somebody say like I've stoner vibes. It's like this is like even in like real life. I mean, it's just the way I am.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I actually prefer it because some people like they talk way too fast. They're like way too crazy. I'm like, slow down.
Maybe I should start up an ASMR channel.
Yeah, I know. What?
Because people find my voice relaxing, so there's.
It is. It is actually kind of relaxing. It's like, not gonna lie, there are some like vegan guys out there who do have that very kind of like soy voice or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, it's just because like the soy boy sort of term, because a lot of vegans hate that because it's kind of
but I don't think it's real
vegans.
here. Like there are some vegan guys who do have that kind of soy boy voice.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of that, like vegan gains.
Oh, we roasted
like,
people. Right, like vegan gains, especially when he's like really getting into something, his voice just like gets higher and higher. He's like,
it's like goes up and up.
Sorry, vegan gains.
Well, there was this guy that was saying how if you look at his early videos, his voice was deeper, but on his newer ones, it's higher, and therefore it's the veganism that's making his voice go higher. But I think it's just that on his later videos, it was getting more like emotional, you can say.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Speaking of vegan, okay, what happened to vegan gains?
I've not watched him for quite a while, so.
Right, like I only watch his channel here and there, admittedly, and I feel like I don't know. Did he get terminated or is he like back?
I'll have a look.
Okay, since we're getting into drama here,
No content.
Oh.
Well, his channel's still there. What's that? About the CL, whatever, like that. I don't know if you know that.
Oh God.
Channel. He's put out a video about the psychology of vegan gains, his deleted videos, vegan gains. There's another channel, Greg Doucette. I think that's some like bodybuilding channel. Vegan gains cancelled. Take my advice. So I don't know what's gone on with him, but maybe I should. Find out.
Golden Skull saying ASMR comment sections is the most unfunniest stuff you'll ever see. And then he probably had 2 strikes and took everything down to avoid the 3rd. Yeah, maybe.
Well, yeah, that's just like, like last resort, basically. But I wouldn't even do that. Like, I'd rather just kind of let them give me the third strike, because I mean it's.
And then what? Just start a new channel or what?
Well, I mean I'm at a point where I'm just kind of, I'm not even really that kind of invested in YouTube anymore, because it's like, well, they could just take my channel down at any point. Like they could literally just find 3 videos and strike the whole lot. I mean, it's happened to people.
I know.
So,
Yeah, it happens to. I won't lie though. I think maybe because of Vegan Gain's like humor, you know, he does have kind of like that dark humor in a way, or he's like sarcastic, and I think people kind of maybe take it the wrong way. And you know, I sort of see where people are coming from. It's sort of like, is he joking or is he for real? Yeah, what, like back in the day, he had that video about like wanting to stomp babies or something.
I remember like somebody made a video. I think it was Isaac Butterfield, who was like dissing him for making a video in the past, like sort of a few years ago, that he was gaming and he was sort of like taking his frustration out on somebody, saying some nasty things, but that was like a few years back. And
oh, I think I know who you're talking about. He was like, oh my god, I feel weird saying this on a live stream, but he's like, yeah, I want to like slit this guy's throat or something. Is that the one you're talking about?
I can't remember. It was just something quite sort of offensive.
Oh, have I ever?
I just can't remember what it was. It was just, it was playing some game or something, and then Isaac Butterfield took that and he trying, because obviously he makes videos like bashing on vegans and veganism and yeah, like I don't know if you've ever watched any of his stuff, but
not really. I mean, I've maybe a few here and there when he is talking about vegans, and I'm just like, okay, you're kind of just being stupid and generic, right? It's like people, I don't know what it is, but I feel like the whole like make fun of the vegan thing is getting so old. Like I look at those type of videos and I'm just like, okay, we're vegan, funny.
yeah, like it's kind of just low-hanging fruit, really, isn't it?
Yeah, what is it? It's like there's all those
no pun intended.
No, but what is it? Like the cool thing now is for all these like little 12-year-old gamers to like be making fun of like the vegan teacher.
Oh yeah.
Like it's literally like all those channels are exactly the same. They're all playing some just like dumb game, and then they're like, the vegan teacher told me that I'm a bad person because I eat meat.
Yeah, she was getting like hate from like different sides. Like she was like getting it for a lot from like the kind of intersectionals, and then from the kind of, you know, like the carnivores or whatever, like just even some vegans maybe, like, I mean, very controversial, but
I mean, I did see this one video. I think it was like Mooncat who did a response to the vegan teacher, and she was like trying to sort of like change the definition or like acronyms of like racist or like the N-word or something. Did you know about that?
no, I mean, so what they're trying to like change what definition of what it is to be a racist now?
Or like she was saying like the acronyms of like the N-word is like, oh, it means you're nice, intelligent, or great, and
it's like, because at one time like being a racist meant that you had an axe to grind with one of them. So it's completely changed to just mean that, you know, that just being white, because you're privileged
Mm-hmm.
in brackets,
Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of right. Like,
it's you know, means that you're a racist because you are was it you're benefiting from a system that has been brought about by slavery, right? So what about any like successful black people then? Are they racist as well?
mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, no, I get it. Like calling someone or something racist has really kind of lost its like touch in a way.
yeah,
Right?
because if
No,
everyone's a racist, then nobody's a racist. It's like,
it's just like the norm, which I don't
yeah,
know, I guess is because yeah, I don't know how it is out there in the UK, but they have right a big fight we're having right now in the US is teaching children critical race theory, and then what is it, the 1916 project? And they're basically teaching kids it's like, okay, so if you're white, you're automatically like a racist, you know, oppressor, and then if you're not white, you're just automatically oppressed by your other white classmates. And it's just like, wow, really, we're teaching young kids this thing. Can't be racist, can't speak racist words. Oh, that's David Wishengrad.
what do you mean? Like, so you can't be a racist, but you can speak racist words. Well, people can be racist, can't they?
And you can speak racist words like oh yeah, race lovers saying critical race yeah, that is sort of like what we're talking about. It's sort of like no matter what you do, you can't win, because if you deny that you're a racist, you're a liar. And
Yeah,
you can like look deep into your heart, but then if you say you're racist, well, it's like, okay, well, you just admitted it, you're a racist.
yeah. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Exactly.
Yeah, but then these people have to like admit that they're racist then because they're benefiting from the same system. So it's kind of like they're putting themselves down
Mm-hmm.
while putting others down. It's like,
I know it's all getting just so ridiculous. I'm like, what is going on with the world now?
it's almost like self-loathing being projected onto people.
Mm-hmm. I know it's kind of like there's this like addiction almost to like being miserable and being oppressed. It's like a contest.
Misery loves company.
Yep, misery does love company.
Yeah, was that video that you put out the other
Because
week about?
it's well, at least with these, you know, kind of ex-vegans, it's like just because they sort of like screwed up and they did all this stupid stuff to themselves or ate like a wacky diet, like instead of just kind of taking that sort of responsibility, they just are like, no, vegans are hateful, you know, and they right, like, because that's what I've noticed, they almost like want vegans to fail. And it's like, sorry, but some of us aren't, you know, as no offense, kind of like as dumb as you are. Right? Like they could, you know, instead of putting in all that energy to be like, oh, vegans suck and they look ugly. It's like, no, just educate yourself on some more nutrition, maybe learn how to cook, and maybe try again.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
I
it's
don't
like
know
that they
what
would
is your
rather
take
do
on
that
these
than
vegans. Oh,
not,
sorry.
instead of taking responsibility. And there's a lot of virtue signaling going on with the left, like where they're going on about Black Lives Matter and all these like issues, but being privileged themselves, that you've probably heard the term champagne socialist.
No, I haven't. What is that
Well,
exactly?
it's basically like someone who is like middle to like upper class who's preaching about injustices and inequality.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of cringe, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it reminds me a bit of what like AOC has that sweatshirt tax the rich, but then it sells for like 60, $70.
Yeah, so it's like,
Right. And do people not, at least in the US, it's like the rich people who are already paying way more taxes. Like the amount of taxes you pay depend, somewhere. I don't know the exact numbers, but if you make, this X amount of money a year, you're going to get taxed this much. So it's like, okay, you're taxing yourself. I mean, that's kind of what you mean
yeah,
by
I mean,
campaign socialist.
I do see that, yeah, I mean, there are, like areas like there's these ghettos that are really horrible. And yeah, I totally get that. So, I mean, obviously, there has to be some truth in the BLM thing, otherwise it wouldn't sell. But it's been like completely blown out of proportion, and it doesn't actually help. It's it's just creating more division. And
Right. I mean, yeah, Black Lives Matter turned out to be a really big disappointment in my eyes because I think they did start off with really good intentions, but then, as I've talked about a lot on my channel, like the past year and a half, it's just rioting, and they essentially are just, like destroying the businesses that they want to like protect. Like during these riots, you're destroying a Black-owned business or what have you, and what is it? It turned out that Patrisse Cullors, one of the main organizers, like she hasn't even really given a dime to help any of these communities. She just keeps buying mansions.
yeah,
Oh, bye, David.
yeah, it's just like I said, it's virtue signaling. And you got to question like whether there's something else going on, like, who's really behind it. Was this all designed to cause, sort of a civil unrest?
I don't know, maybe, because I have seen little like video clips here and there where they have, like right before a protest or even a few hours before, they're, laying out bricks. These like moving trucks are just like coming up into parking lots, and they're filled with like signs and, tear gas or whatever they're using.
Hmm. So you're saying that they have prior knowledge of it?
Yeah, it is. It's sort of like these riots in many ways are like planned to some extent.
Yeah. obviously, it's not just spontaneous. I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, you do have to kind of somewhat plan a riot, but it does seem like there's, I don't know, how do I put it? Like someone I think is sort of funding them. And then the crazy thing is that a lot of these people who have been arrested for rioting are basically just getting bailed out, right? Like they get arrested, but then they, get released almost right away.
yeah, it's like they're not getting any like punishment really. It's just slap on the wrist.
Mm-hmm. And then, you compare all these riots that happened pretty much all of last summer. Maybe they stopped a little bit in winter, but then even a few riots, this year. But then you look at what happened on January 6th, where I don't think anyone was really violent on January 6th, maybe just like a small handful. But, a few of those people have been in jail for like months.
Yeah, there's this like two-tier policing that, like, if you're part of like social justice or environmental issues or whatever, then you're, I don't know so much. I mean, some people say Extinction Rebellion protests that they're actually, they're not being treated as badly as say like the ones that going against, say, like the restrictions and what have you that they've had. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like, it just shows you there's like double standards going on. That.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but yeah, that January the 6th thing, it was like vast majority was peaceful. There was a few people that stormed the Capitol, and that was what was focused on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many people turned up to that thing that were peaceful?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, me, I'm not going to put words in your mouth here, but, I've seen just like various videos and different angles. Like there's one video I saw where the security are even just, moving the rails and like letting them in. And then there was this one guy who, at the front entrance was like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you letting these people,
Oh, right. So it was like it was all deliberately, that they were allowing them in. Because I've heard stuff about these people that there's, some suspicion that they are, like military or whatever. Like, what is their intention? That people say, the grifters, the opportunists, but what is really what were they really trying to achieve with it? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, there is this sort of conspiracy that it was actually more left-wing people, and then they purposely did that to make, like the people on the right look bad.
yeah, I mean, there could have been some kind of infiltration going on and then people say the same thing about BLM, that it was right-wing people that were put in there to cause violence. So
Yeah, I know. I guess it's this thing where like each side is just trying to make each other look bad.
well, both sides play off each other. It's like a sort of, it's like a Hegelian dialectic kind of thing. I don't know. It's like one side will come in to save the day, basically. Like they'll be correcting the problems of the other side, and then they'll create their own problems that the other side then has to fix. So it's like this sort of problem, reaction, solution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with like the election or whatever, like.
yeah, it's like they're always going to pick up the pieces of the what the other one has left.
Yeah, what is this in the comment section here? Of course, they were let in. Do you really think that they could get in there without a huge firefight, without being like, okay, get real? I don't understand how rioters can burn down a police station and get away with it, but people walking into the house, they consider it an attempt to overthrow the U.S. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like I don't agree with either, but yeah, like can we try to have some like consistency in like the way you look at it? Right? Like the whole joke is sort of, this is a mostly peaceful protest, and then, literally behind the reporter there's like a car on fire. Right? Or no, the new one now is this woman in Afghanistan. She's like, yeah, they're chanting death to America, but otherwise they seem friendly. Did you see that clip?
No, I don't.
No, oh my God, that's like the 2021 clip.
Well, there was this like woman that was at the protest, and she saw stuff that had happened there, and people were saying that she was a crisis actor, and she was being paid to, basically, just like to read a script. But I wasn't there. I was, but obviously you can see what happened, but it could have been that they used people to, to stir up emotions.
Yeah, definitely.
Try and play on people's heartstrings.
Exactly. Kind of like how us, crazy vegans do that.
Well, yeah, there is that. And what do you think of, because do you think that some of these vegans are maybe going about things wrong, or what?
It's, to an extent, I don't really agree with like the shouting at people in a restaurant, mainly because they've kind of already ordered their food and eating it. So what's done is done. But then again, all these, right, crazy protests, like what's her name? Like Tasha Vegan Booty, right? Like she's the one who in Australia who does all that crazy stuff. But at the same time, it sort of does bring up the conversation, but I don't know how positive that conversation is. And it's kind of like at the end of the day, people, right, different people react to different things in a way. So I don't know, maybe, I don't do activism really, offline. So I can't really like hate on other people.
Yeah, because it's like, well, because I get
some people do respond more.
like, well, if you're gonna like criticize them, then at least do things your way that's better. And it's like, yeah, I get that. This sort of what you call like armchair activism. Yeah.
I was about to say, right, like some people, respond really well to all the crazy militant stuff, but then other people don't, right? Some people are like, yeah, vegan gains turn me vegan, but then there are other people who are like, no, Earthling Ed made me vegan. You kind of never really know, and especially since, I don't do street activism or anything, I can't really hate on it.
No, yeah, it's like I suppose maybe sort of if you can like adapt to the situation, that try to sort of like, you know, sort of to try and sort of, you know, so, well, I don't know, just see if you think that person would be, you know, need that kind of softly approach, or a more kind of tough kind of like, you know, just, you know, like, you know, talk about like the horrors and all that kind of stuff. Like, but how would you know whether that's the right thing to do?
I know you kind of just don't know, you know, and you have to kind of, I guess, take that gamble. But it seems like, you know, to be completely fair, I think a lot of people do respond negatively to like the over the top kind of thing, right? It does in a way make us look a little crazy.
But I think there's a lot of it's that when people are new to it, that they're going to be very passionate, but they sort of calm down after a while, and they start to, because there was that thing with like Joey Carstrong, that he like was, apparently he was very militant at first, but then he sort of calmed down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you get any like crazy protests out where you live?
No, it's pretty quiet where I am. For that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I'm living in a like historic city at the moment, and it's so you get a lot of like uni people around here because there's a university. So it's probably like mostly leftists around here. Yeah. But they seem to have this kind of look about them. You can tell a mile off. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, what is it? At least here in the US, like they're always saying it's people with like blue hair.
Yeah,
like nose piercings or whatever.
Kind of, yeah, like the whole kind of feminist sort of like, I mean, what's your like thoughts on like feminism?
Oh boy. You see, I think for the most part, at least in the West or the US, like we're good. You know, right? Like that there is equal opportunity, there is equal pay for whichever job you're doing. So it almost seems sort of kind of preachy and unnecessary.
Yeah, and the thing is, yeah.
Well, a big thing that does sort of upset me, and right, feminists don't really talk about you know like Muslim women or people like outside of the US who really like are oppressed because they're afraid to like insult the culture.
Yeah, so it just kind of shows you how much sort of like virtue signaling that they're doing. It's like they're afraid to speak up about like other people's problems. They also don't speak up about problems that just affect men or affect men more, like, which there is, but there are some women that will actually acknowledge that, but they're what you would call egalitarians rather than feminists. Somebody that is truly about equality, not equality when it suits them.
Yeah, because it's you know, I'm not gonna lie here, like I think the whole kind of Me Too thing went a little bit out of control to the point where it's like women could twist some tall tale and then that guy's life would just kind of like be ruined.
Yeah, because I remember, I don't know if you watched that video, well, a few of them at Vegan Gains was like debating somebody about like this Me Too thing, and I mean I could see both sides, but I mean but the thing is, it's like, you know, I agree with him that, you know, that you know, to always like side with the accuser is not really fair, because it's like it's like, you know, innocent until proven guilty. It's
Well,
I mean,
great. The big example I can think of is what happened to Johnny Depp, right? I don't know if you've
right.
heard about all that.
No, I haven't really heard anything about that. No.
Well, right, because for the longest time, Johnny Depp was accused of beating his wife. But then I think it was, yeah, I think it was like last year or something, all these like leaked audio phone calls, and it turned out that she was actually the one being like abusive towards him.
Right.
So it's kind of like you can't just like right, you can't just like automatically assume that, you know, the woman is innocent. Like, yeah, sorry ladies, but you can be pretty nasty and abusive too. Like, it's not just men.
Well, they can use this to their advantage. So it's just like, the thing is, even if they get found innocent, that the
There
life's
is
still
that.
probably ruined, because there'll be people that still doubt it.
Yeah, and I think men, you know, I mean, yeah, like, you know, decades ago, yes, like men did get away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, in this day and age, like, even if they are proven innocent, there is still that kind of stigma and like double standard, you know?
Yeah. Whereas if, say, like, let's just say if a woman was wrongly found innocent, then everyone would just forget about it and she's innocent. It's a double standard.
Exactly.
So yeah, you want to hear the feminists talk about the things that are actually, you know, that because it's not affecting them, they're not interested. So it's all about them a lot of the time. And I'm not saying all of them, because, you know, some of them have, you know, like with this whole kind of trans thing, and it's like you know, it's like, you know, where it's like trans men can, you know, male to female can compete with women now.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I
And
mean, I mean, I get there's, you know, two sides to it, and that, you know, because you know, they've had you know, hormones blocked or whatever, that they're not as I don't know. I mean, but it's like it's like they're trying to change what it is to be a woman now. That
many ways, yes. It's because, see, to me, I get the whole like hormone blocking thing, but then you're kind of really going deep into this rabbit hole of like, do you really think it's appropriate for, you know, young children and minors to be taking that kind of stuff? Like, I think people take all like the hormone and the surgery thing like way too lightly. And it's kind of like, is a minor really in that sort of mental and physical state to be making that type of decision?
well, I mean, they'll say
Or I
stuff
think that's
like
really tricky.
it's, you know, about it being a kind of, you know, like, because, you know, there's like, obviously there's some physical things that you can't change. So why aren't they like happy in their own skin? It's like, you're born that way, and, you know, like that you're chopping bits off or whatever, and then it's like, well, you'll never be able to undo that. What if sometime down the road that you regret it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, oh no, like I wish I hadn't have done it. Now it's like, yeah, you could still identify as a woman if you want to, but at least you have that, you know, kind of, I don't know, like there's sometimes they'll identify as a woman, but they still, you know, biologically intact as a male. So, you know, if they think of it as like a cultural thing rather than biological, then why is there such a rush to go out and get surgery?
Well, right, it's I mean, technically I believe it's called gender dysphoria. And
Yeah.
I guess in a strange way of looking at it, it is sort of like I guess it could somewhat fall under the umbrella of like a body image issue. You know, how do you say body dysmorphia? Right. I think to some extent you could argue that's what it is.
Yeah, and I've heard that it, you know, because it's like hormone problems, and that a lot of the time it can be corrected with medications or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just that there's hormone imbalances, and some say it may have something to do with we have a lot of like hormones in the water now. It's just, you know, like birth control pills and like just toxins that get in the water that are, I mean, I'm not saying that that's all there is to it. There's obviously more to it than that. But yeah, like there's something about it that doesn't really seem organic to me.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then I totally get that it is sort of I guess you could say a combination of like a psychological and body image thing. But nowadays it's kind of like almost trendy in a way.
Yeah, so the media has a big influence as well. So it's
well, right, because like you're no longer straight or just a biological person. You're like a cis person. And Facebook, I believe, now has over like 50 genders or something that you.
Yeah, so it's like nowadays being cis is being boring or something. Just
yeah, plain. And it's sort of like uncool to like be cis or comfortable with your own gender.
Yeah, it's like it's getting to the point where, you know, what is it? Being a straight white male is actually the worst position to be in. It's like the tables have really turned, haven't they? Like, I mean,
well, right, living in San Francisco, I used to always like joke with people. I'm like, yeah, the reason why, you know, I'm single and I have problems dating is because pretty much all the men in San Francisco are gay. You know, it's just like San Francisco, if you're just like straight, you know, it's actually harder for you. But now I feel like in many ways, in many places, right, just being, you know, your born gender and straight, like, yeah, it is kind of like the hardest thing to be now almost.
I meant as in like there's a lot of stigma now attached to,
right, if you're
to those things, straight and like, you know, like white supremacy.
Yeah, if you're straight, you know, like, you're like a horrible person.
What's it, you know, like straight, you know, sort of privilege or whatever. I mean,
yeah, maybe decades ago there was straight privilege, but not so much anymore. Like, again, it's just one of those things that I think has come to a point where it has been widely accepted and people are just kind of crying about it for no reason. Okay, let's see. The public schools are being forced to put transgender books in their libraries and teach it. Yeah, I think that
also they're trying to change the definition of what it is to be white as well.
I know, it's like that. Yeah, see, funny enough, I mean, I know you're probably bored of like the American politics already here, but right, a lot of people left California in this past year or so. And then a new thing I keep hearing about is a lot of people are actually pulling their kids out of public school and homeschooling them because of all this crap.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, it's probably a good thing. I think, like, if you can teach your kids, then I think you probably should. I mean, it's, if you've got the time to do it and like in the know-how, then it's like it's a way of like connecting with your kids and actually doing what a parent should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, instead of sending off to institutions and it's this thing of the breakdown of the family unit, and this is, you obviously got all these like conspiracy theories about that. About the suffragettes movement, about how that was used as a way to destroy the family unit.
Mm-hmm.
Because then both parents would have to go out to work to earn a decent wage, whereas they used to get by on one income.
No, that is crazy how that's like changed. Right? It's almost kind of, not only is it stigmatized for a woman to be a stay-at-home mom, but like the reality is that it's just almost impossible, right? Like both parents do have to work these days in order to raise a family.
Yeah.
Oh God, what are people saying here? What do you two know? You're both hashtag too white to be. See, sometimes I generally sometimes don't know if people are like joking or if they're actually trying to be mean to me.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to really detect irony in chat, isn't it?
I know, because I have some people being like, oh my God, you have so many trolls. Why do you let trolls in your comment section all the time? And then sometimes I'm just like, one hand, I don't know if they're joking or not. And then on the other hand, it's like, okay, half the time I don't even like see these comments. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm lazy with my comment section. I don't really block anyone unless they're like really problematic or like they spam me or something.
Well, race leaders got it. They don't want strong nuclear families. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something. I mean, I know they took it down when they were kind of called out for it, but that was one of like the Black Lives Matter thing. They wanted to like destroy the nuclear family.
Right.
What is it? Jacob's New Dress is a children's book about 6-year-old cross-dressing. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's like so much messed up stuff. I saw like a shop that was really like disturbing name of it, like it was selling children's lingerie. It was just so perverted.
I did not just hear that. Children's. Oh my.
Yeah, it was like it was just really. It was a few years ago, a couple of years ago. It was like I don't know what happened. It probably got shut down, or whatever. But it was.
Oh my God. I know when my mom was visiting, I was telling her that like I also saw this thing where they have online you can buy these little I guess like little plastic prosthetic like penis things that you can slip into, a little girl's underwear to make it like feel like she has a penis or something.
Yeah, just
What are we doing to our children? This is so ugh. A nation of or strong nuclear family groups It's not going to be a group you can easily control.
If you don't accept that, what you just said, then you're a bigot.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a transphobe.
Yeah.
Right.
Racist, bigot, transphobe.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't feel like, if you disagree with like children being sexualized and like being taught about this stuff at such a young age, yeah, you're a transphobe. Yeah, because what is it they even bring like little kids to, like gay pride parades and like drag shows? Or like
it's just totally
shit. And it's like, what are you doing bringing your child there? Like, ew. Like, people don't know how to parent these days. Like, I swear to God.
I mean, they just act like they're part of a cult that they're trying to initiate people into.
Yeah, no kidding.
But thank you for letting me on. But like, I do have.
Yeah, I was about to say, if this goes on for more than an hour, no one's gonna watch the.
Yeah, I do have my own show that I need to start.
Oh, you're going on. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna start, but obviously it got like kind of. I thought, because we were a bit late starting this up, so.
I know. I'm sorry about that. I'm like a.
It's all right.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for letting me on. I'm not gonna be live on YouTube. I'll be on D-Live actually. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll actually be vegan_realist on there because that's still got that name. So,
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, but
I'll see if I can go find you there.
Yeah, so some people have had issues trying to watch it because it's something about it being blockchain and it's something about the bandwidth or something. But whatever. I really need to go on.
All right, I'll let you go.
All right, thank you for chatting.
All right, bye.
Yeah, bye.